Hello guys, welcome back to Archive Ryzen. In this video, I'm gonna talk about Eatchel GUSTAV skill manifestation, weapon comparison between Blazing Fangs, Tiny Grains, Lapis Lazuli, and Rock Python. And the last one will be the Logistic Talent Priority. So, Eatchel GUSTAV is a 5-star kinetic elemental damage dealer, while her role is a healer and damage amplifier operative. And also, will she become a self-sustained DPS? Let's find out. When you using her standard skill, she will deal AoE kinetic damage to all enemy in front, while also pulling all of the enemy within the AoE to her position. And after that, she will heal a certain amount of HP to herself that can be increased up to 25% if you manage to hit 5 enemy or more at once. And after that, she will get 2 additional special powerful shots that the damage from the special shot are based on her standard skill healing amount and count as a skill damage. So these 2 special shots can produce a really high damage that can hit 5 enemy at once in the bullet trajectory. And in order to increase the 2 special shot damage, you will need to make sure your standard skill manages to hit 5 or more enemy at once. So the healing amount from her standard skill will be more higher, and the 2 special shot damage will also increase. And also because it counts as a skill damage, shooting the special shot to enemy that have shield can't deal twice damage to the enemy shield. So if you are against shielded enemy, it's better to start pumping with your shotgun than depend on these 2 special shots. And if you upgrade this skill, this special shot will no longer consume ammo, and also it can deal up to 7 targets at once, from 5 targets to 7 targets. And the next one, if you use her support skill, she will deal AoE kinetic damage while knock back all target within the AoE, just like Fanny Lionheart support skill. And after that, she will heal all operative within the AoE. And if you upgrade this support skill, besides it can deal AoE kinetic damage and knock back all enemy in AoE, it can also stun all the target hit and increase the final healing bonus by 20%. If you pressing any movement direction while using her support skill, she will jump a little bit to which direction you press. So in case you are too far from the enemy for her support skill to reach them, you can use her support skill while pressing the movement direction to the enemy location, so she will jump a little bit to reach the enemy. You can also use it to dodge the enemy attack. While her ultimate skill, when you using her ultimate skill, she will deal AoE kinetic damage to every enemy in a large scale and also heal our operative in a large number. The healing capabilities from her ultimate skill can heal your active operative and also your inactive operative. And after that, she will gain Ice Cloud stack based on the total damage deal by the ultimate skill that can stack up to 5 stacks. Each this Ice Cloud stack can provide attack flat buff to all operative that based on the charge amount plus 50% of Eatchel healing bonus. Also, each Ice Cloud stack can provide an emergency healing. If your active operative HP fall below 30%, then it will automatically heal your active operative by a certain amount that will cost 2 Ice Cloud stack at once, and also can apply invulnerable for a very short time. That's about 1 second or less. From this footage, you can see that Fanny Cornet HP are decreased from buff and Anjai attack, and after it reaches below 30%, it will automatically heal by a large amount, but costing 2 Ice Cloud stack. And besides her ultimate skill able to deal a large amount of damage and heal your operative, it can also provide a large amount of attack flat buff to all of your operative to help your operative defeat some boss. And if you upgrade her ultimate skill, it can guarantee 2 full charges if your Ice Cloud charges are less than 2 stacks after you use her ultimate skill. You can see from this footage, because the enemy died after getting hit twice time by her ultimate skill, the total damage only able to charge her Ice Cloud stack by 0.7. But after her ultimate skill end, it suddenly jump up to 2 stacks. That is what this upgrade can do. While the second upgrade is, each of these Ice Cloud stack can only exist for 10 seconds. and after 10 seconds, one of the ice cloud stack will disappear. And from the second ultimate skill upgrade, if any of your ice cloud stack disappear because it ran out of duration, the total charge will be converted as a healing for your active operative. So the second upgrade can make each of these ice cloud stack become a healing over time for your active operative. But the only problem about her ultimate skill is her ultimate skill consumes too much ultimate energy, that is about 100 ultimate energy. So if you want to use her as a support operative, better pair her with any main DPS that have a useless ultimate skill. For example, Phoenix Coronet or Lifelwell Han. Or you can use Test Code to help you charge the ultimate energy. Because Test Code can even provide 200 or more ultimate energy for Eatchel the Cup and Yao Winter Solstice to use their ultimate skill. And the big problem about her ultimate skill is never use her ultimate skill against enemy that have destroyable part. Because if her ultimate skill deal damage against destroyable part, the damage won't be count to charge her Ice Cloud stack. You can see after she used her ultimate skill, she only managed to charge 1.1 of the Ice Cloud stack. And the next one is her Deiwos Skill. Her Deiwos Skill can provide healing bonus by 20%, and for 100 alignment index, it can increase by 6%. Her Deiwos Skill are highly synergy with her 5-star signature weapon and her ultimate skill as a damage amplifier. And also it highly synergy with her ability as a support healer. And the next one is her manifestation. For her manifestation 1 are very useful because it can provide you 2 or less permanent ice cloud that the ice cloud charges are based on her loadout attack. From here you can see that after you start a battle, you already gain 2 permanent ice cloud stack that won't decrease over time. And after you use her ultimate skill, that 2 stack will disappear because it got filled up by a new charge. And after the new charge started to disappear one by one, it will once again left you with the last 2 permanent charges. So both of that 2 charges can provide a permanent flat attack increase to all of your operative for the entire battle, while also become an emergency healing when your active operative HP are in the critical moment. While her manifestation 2 only a little bit useful because whenever your ice cloud stack disappear naturally, besides it can provide healing over time, it can also decrease the ultimate skill cooldown by 10 seconds. So this manifestation 2 can only decrease the ultimate skill cooldown by 40 seconds if 4 of your ice cloud stack disappear naturally. But usually, we can't use her ultimate skill not because the skill cooldown, but instead it's because the ultimate skill costs a lot of ultimate energy. While her manifestation 3 are very useful for her because each ice cloud stack, besides it can give you flat attack buff, in this manifestation 3, each ice cloud stack can also provide you all type damage by 3%. So it can improve the ice cloud stack to buff all of your operative even further. While her manifestation 4 are quite useful because it can provide so many increments from her ultimate skill damage, her ultimate skill healing effect, and also it can increase each ice cloud maximum charge capacity by a certain amount. While for her manifestation 5 are very useful for her because it can increase the ice cloud max stack by 1 stack, from 5 stack to 6 stack. That's why this one are very useful because more ice cloud stack means more damage amplifier she can provide. And the next one is her weapon comparison between Blazing Fangs Tier 1, Tiny Grains Tier 1, Lapis Lazuli Tier 5 and Rock Python Tier 5. So here is Eatchel GUSTAV level 80 manifestation 2 stat, while for her logistic talent and skill, this logistic talent have 2 attack percent talents B rank, 1 alignment index B rank, and 2 heal bonus talent B rank. To make it simple, I will just point out the things that you can know from this calculation. The calculation in here is Eatchel Pure damage without getting any buff from her weapons or her ultimate skill. Here you can see her sustained DPS from her shooting damage is about this much. From Blazing Fangs, about 7,500. For Tiny Grains is the highest, more than 9,000. For Lapis Lazuli, 6600, and Rock Python about 6500. While for Eatchel skill DPS, here her standard skill damage per enemy, while here is her standard skill DPS per enemy, and here is the standard skill healing amount when you manage to hit one target. And here is the 2 special shot DPS, is quite low, so you can see from here, if you are against one enemy, her shooting sustain DPS are higher than her skill DPS. And this one is her overall DPS from her shooting DPS and her skill DPS. But if you use her standard skill and that 2 special bullets against 2 or more enemy, her skill total DPS will manage to surpass her shooting sustain DPS. So she is a very good character if you want to use her against a bunch of mobs. And this one here is her support skill damage when hitting one enemy, and this one is her support skill healing amount, and the last one is her ultimate skill damage. You can see that if you want to build Eatchel as a self-sustain DPS, Tiny Grains is the best option if Eatchel didn't gain any buff from her weapon or her ultimate skill. But what about she managed to get buff from her weapon? Here is the calculation if your standard skill only managed to hit one enemy and triggering the weapon skill. You can see that the DPS between Blazing Fangs and Tiny Grains started to get closer after Eatchel got some buff from her 5-star signature weapon. And if your standard skill managed to hit 5 enemies at once, the number will become even more closer. But still, Tiny Grains managed to stay the higher between them. Unless you can keep constantly hit 5 enemies at once with your standard skill in order to accumulate the healing amount, like if you manage to accumulate 5000, then the overall sustained DPS from Blazing Fangs will able to surpass the Tiny Grains. That's all about the calculation if you want to use her as a self-sustained DPS. Now, what if you want to use her as a support damage amplifier that depend on her support skill? Here is the calculation between Blazing Fangs, Lapis Lazuli, and Rock Python that have the ability to provide buff for your active operative. For Blazing Fangs, her support skill healing amount is about 7600, and the healing amount will decrease by 500 every second, so it will need 15 seconds in order to fully decay all of the healing amount. That means her support skill cooldown managed to surpass the decay time. So if you're constantly using her support skill every time her support skill reaches its cooldown, you can accumulate the healing amount until it's managed to reach 10,000. But of course that will be very difficult to accumulate. So let's say we only use her support skill one time, so the healing amount will be 7621. And because the healing amount decay over time, let's say we only get half of the weapon skill effect, that is 411. While for Lapis Lazuli Tier 5 can provide you flat attack buff by 850 for 15 seconds. While for Rock Python, it can increase your operative attack percent by 12% for 7 seconds if your operative HP reaches its maximum after getting healed by Eatchel. Because there is a difference effect between 3 of that weapons, I'm gonna bring in Katya Klein attack stat for this calculation. So my Katya Klein total flat attack is 2730, while for the total attack percent is 150.5. Then you can see that after Katya Klein getting buffed by Blazing Fangs, the loadout attack or the total attack will become this much. For Lapis Lazuli, the total attack will be this much, while for the Rock Python, the total attack will be this much. So from this calculation, if you only depend on her support skill, Lapis Lazuli is the best weapon, can give the highest damage amplifier for your active operative. While for Blazing Fangs is the second, but if you manage to accumulate the healing amount, Blazing Fangs will become the first, while for the Rock Python will become the third option. That's all for the damage amplifier if you only want to depend on her support skill. And the last one is her damage amplifier after you using her ultimate skill. Because after you using her ultimate skill, she will heal a large amount of HP to 3 of your operative at once. She can easily accumulate 10,000 healing amount for her weapon skill. And also, if the healing amount start decay over time, you can just use her support skill or standard skill in order to maintain the weapon skill buff effectiveness. So let's say we manage to get about 18% of her weapon skill buff for a short period of time. Then that 80% flat attack buff will be this much. While for this flat attack bonus from here is come from the Ice Cloud stack at the maximum stack, that is 5 stars. And the flat attack bonus will be this much based on each weapon. From here you can see that the total flat attack bonus from the ultimate skill and the weapon skill for Blazing Fang will be this much, for Lapis Lazuli will be this much, while for Rock Python, because it's attack percent, I'm gonna bring in again a Katya Klein for this calculation. For the total Katya Klein attack increment when you're using Blazing Fangs, the total attack will be this much, Tiny Grains will be this much, Lapis Lazuli will be this much, and Rock Python will be this much. So the percent comparison between each weapon with Blazing Fangs can provide the higher flat attack bonus, while Lapis Lazuli is the second, that is about 6% against Blazing Fangs tier 1, and the third highest is Rock Python, that is about 22% against Blazing Fangs tier 1, and the last one is Tiny Grains, that is 23% against Blazing Fangs tier 1. And in case you want to know Eatchel sustain DPS after using her ultimate, here is her overall sustain DPS after using her ultimate skill. You can see that Blazing Fangs can provide the higher ultimate skill buff, so after Eatchel using her ultimate skill, her overall DPS when using Blazing Fangs will able to surpass Tiny Grains and other weapons. So her only peak performance is when she using her ultimate skill. That can even make her become a decent main DPS. So the conclusion is, if you wanna build Eatchel the Cup as a support healer and damage amplifier, Blazing Fang is the best weapon for her. And Lapis Lazuli is the second option if your Eatchel the Cup haven't reached Manifestation 1. And if your Eatchel the Cup already reached Manifestation 1, you better use Rock Python as her free-to-play weapons. Because Rock Python as a kinetic weapons can trigger the Manifestation 1 effect, so it can provide a permanent buff for all of your operative by 2 of the Ice Cloud stack. While for self-sustain DPS build, in case you want to have fun with her, Tiny Grains are the first option for you to use, because it have the highest DPS amongst shotgun kinetic weapons, while the Blazing Fang is the second weapon for you to use. While for her recommended Logistic Lux Squad, the Logistic skill can provide a large amount of healing effect for your Eatchel that can highly synergy with her 5-star signature weapons and also with her ultimate skill ability to heal and as a damage amplifier. But if you want to use her as a self-sustain DPS, better use Amano Iwato squad, because from the calculation you can see that her highest DPS are come from her shooting damage instead of her standard skill damage. That's why if you buff her ballistic damage, her DPS can become even more higher. But if you use Amano Iwato squad, don't forget to aim shot the entire battle. While for the logistic talent priority, for Lux Squad, attack percent is the highest priority, because attack percent are highly synergy with her weapon skill and ultimate skill as a damage amplifier and a healer. While the second talent is alignment index, and for the third talent will be heal bonus. And if you want to build her as a self-sustain DPS, attack percent is the first priority, crit damage amplifier is the second priority, and ultimate energy recovery is her alternative talent, and kinetic damage will be the third talent. So overall, in terms of damage amplifier support, Acacia Kaguya and Moxie Shadows can provide more higher damage amplifier buff for your active operative than Eatchel GUSTAV, because waiting for you to use her ultimate skill as a damage amplifier will be an ages, while Acacia Kaguya and Moxie Shadows able to provide damage amplifier buff from their support skill. But in terms of support healer, Eatchel GUSTAV stand above Yao the Lazy Ass and Chancing the Observer, because among healer, only Eatchel GUSTAV can provide healing while also an universal damage amplifier to all of your operative. So beside heal, she can also help your active operative to defeat enemy more faster. while Yao de Reyes indeed have more higher healing per second than Eatchel GUSTAV, but she is a healer focused operative, while Changing the Observer can provide healing and damage amplifier that only focus on skill damage. And the last thing I want to say is that the official channel from the Chinese website already said that the production team will conduct more research and testing about the new character and also collect some feedback in the next 10 days. So I guess sooner or later Eatchel GUSTAV will get additional buff just like Katya Klein. I hope the upcoming buff from the developer will make Eatchel GUSTAV more useful and powerful operative as a support healer and damage amplifier. I think that's all for me. If you like my videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Cheers.